Fall is the season of transition. For me, it's something like the new year, but better. It is the season where I work on myself the most. It is the season where you really lock in, where you have that motivation, that drive to finish off the year after an amazing summer, after fun summers. It is the time to lock in and think about those goals that you've set in January or even throughout the year. And now with the season, the nights are getting longer, the mornings are a little bit colder. It is the perfect time to draw your attention back to yourself and get back to work. And that is exactly what we will be talking about in this video, using this time to level up before the end of the year. Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Hi for those of you who are seeing me for the first time. I'm Nessa and here on this channel we are all about self-improvement and beauty. I am a die-hard summer girl. I love summer, whether it is here where I live or somewhere at the beach, but I've always been a summer girl. I love hot weather. I handle hot weather really well, but there is something about fall that summer just does not have and it cannot replicate in any way. On the other hand, winter can feel a little bit more stagnant, especially if you're from places where it snows and where it's actually cold during the winter. It can be very hard to move. But fall is it's the best of both worlds. You have the colder mornings, it's a little bit more gloomy, but you still have those sunny days. And as I said, there is just a vibe around fall that really makes me want to lock in before the new year so that I can start the new year fresh. And before we continue with this video, don't forget to check out my social media links, like and comment, and perhaps share it with somebody that you care about. So the first thing that I want you to do, because it's a new season and each new season requires a cleanse. Now, I'm not going to be talking about cleaning your room, cleaning your space. That is non-negotiable. What I want to talk about is for you to look at summer and this whole year that you've gone through, and I want you to figure out if there are any dead plants that you're still watering, whether those are people, whether those are habits, whether whatever it is there anything that you're pouring into energy but you actually don't care about, that actually doesn't serve you, or if it's people who don't water you back. Because on one hand, for me, fall is kind of a push moment. It is kind of a moment where I really focus and dive into myself, but I also look at fall as a season where you want to prepare yourself for the next year, whether those are habits, whether those are relationships. You want to start thinking about the things and the habits and the peoples and the goals that you're going to be bringing into 2026. Now, I have started using a term, or it's been out there for a while, but I gave it a whole new meaning. And that is, I am not entertaining this. And I use this for people, I use this for habits, because when you think about it, right, when you are doing something that does not serve you, when you're talking to people that are dragging you down, when you're doing habits that you purposefully know that are dragging you down, you are an entertainment. You are an entertainment to the people around you. Because, of course, you look at people and when you notice that they're in a toxic relationship that they are not wanting to leave. No. Because think about it. When you see other people doing things that are bad for them, doing things that don't serve them, doing things that sabotages them, whether you want it or not, if that person does not want to be helped, if that person chooses to be in that situation, they are an entertainment. So start thinking to yourself, I am not entertaining this anymore. I am not gonna be an entertainment for myself and for the people around me. It sounds toxic a little bit, but yeah, I just told myself, if that person is not good enough for me, if that person is treating me bad, if that person is not reciprocating any emotions and any needs that I'm giving them, but I still choose to be in that relationship, I am purely entertainment. It sounds bad, but it is true. So, yeah, look at the habits, look at the people. During the summer, we tend to go out a lot and we tend to have fun, and there's nothing bad about that. Summer is fun. But often, summer can make us be way more social than we actually need to be, and therefore, we can end up in relationships and in habits that simply don't serve us. And now, the second part of the cleanse, once you've kind of weeded out the nasty, bad things that you've accumulated throughout the year, perhaps, you need to look at the goals and the habits that you have reached, that you have managed, that you've achieved throughout the year. Now, this is a moment where I want you to show some grace. I want you to show some gratitude to yourself and to the people around you. I want you, whether you actually achieved all your goals or none, be grateful to yourself, because at the end of the day, the world is pretty damn crazy right now, and we can often be very harsh at us, but especially us younger people, things can feel very hard right now, not physically but mentally, because the world is a chaos, and a lot of things have happened throughout this year. A lot of people went through traumatic stuff, and just the media is not a very positive thing right now. But therefore, I want you to be grateful. I want you to show yourself some grace, but also be self-aware. Look, if you've set out goals, if you've set out habits that you want to do throughout the year in January, for example, and nothing has changed, I want you to look at it and analyze what caused you not reaching it. I want you to look at the moments you fell off of your routines, or maybe you didn't even get the chance to actually hop on those routines and hop on those goal chasing activities. And also, a very important thing that I want you to look at: were you chasing happiness this year, or were you cultivating it? For me, I took the time to analyze why I didn't perhaps achieve what I wanted to achieve this year yet. And the answer was very simple for me, because, as I said, I was entertaining things that didn't serve me. I indulged in habits that weren't for me, that didn't serve me, especially my phone. I hate to say it, but I made a video not that long ago. It's the first video of my series, Pretty Girls with Pretty Brains, where I talked about your phone addiction and what it does to our focus. And my mental health has been it's been like a roller coaster, I have to admit. And what I even hate to admit more is the fact that my phone has caused the majority of that. I already explained it all in that video, so go check that out. But I talked about all the studies, all the neuroscience behind why your phone is making you feel like shit. And yeah, I had weeks where I felt completely depressed. I had no motivation, no discipline. I just wanted to lay in bed, and I don't want to diminish any big things happening in my life, but the phone was definitely a thing that dragged me down a lot. So I did this part where I looked at it, and now I know that I cannot spend the evenings doom scrolling, even as self-care, because that means I'm gonna doom scroll more the next day. It's like a drug. So go check that video out. I put a lot of effort into that video, and I explained it really well. But to get back on track, look at the reasons why you perhaps fell off or just didn't achieve things that you wanted to. And also, I want you to differentiate whether it was your fault. In my case, it was my fault. In other cases, it's not your fault, and that is okay. That is fine. If things didn't happen how you plan them to happen because of some external circumstances that you just could not control, you need to stop laying that burden on yourself. I used to do that. I used to carry the burden of other people's problems and take it on as my own. And then I would be mad at myself because I didn't achieve what I wanted to, but simply was overwhelmed by the issues around me. And there were circumstances which just did not allow me to pursue whatever I wanted to. As a part of the cleanse, I want you to analyze and think about these things too. I want you to create your fall pillars. So, what this essentially means is just selecting the goals that mean to you the most now. For me, it's of course school, since school has started again. It's gonna be my career, so YouTube and any side projects that I have, and my health, because my health also hasn't been the best. I just wasn't focusing as much as I should have on health. So these are going to be my three main pillars. I have a lot of other things that I want to do, that I want to achieve, but right now, I don't want to overwhelm myself with a lot of goals because I used to do that a lot. I would want to achieve 10 things by the end of the year in fall, and it only left me burnt out. So create 3 to 4 different pillars that you're going to be focusing on now. I love the trend of creating a curriculum. And so besides these pillars, because of course you cannot be hustling every single day because you're going to burn out. But what I want you to do is create an August curriculum. Now, I've seen people doing it in many different versions and giving it many different spin-offs, but essentially I want you to create a little list for, again, 4-5 things of hobbies and things you want to learn about and things you want to master, something that you're going to be doing in your free time. And I want you to be planning that free time, because I really am not a big fan of this hustle culture, because I love neuroscience, I study biology, and not giving yourself rest and giving yourself activities that have nothing to do with your goals, your job, your career, your school is so important, and it is very crucial for us. So, create an August curriculum, feeding your brain with knowledge that you probably won't ever need, things that just interest you, books that interest you, whether it is fiction, nonfiction. For me, I love fiction and nonfiction. During the evening, I prefer fiction. And then in the morning, I will read some nonfiction, something self-improvement, sciencey. But I've really incorporated fiction books back into my life. And I've just started looking at reading as a hobby and not as a habit that I have to do every single day. I created a little list of things I want to just do for fun, like handwriting, learning languages, doing puzzles, just whatever it is that you want to do. Make a short list and plan these activities 3 times a week, maybe, depending on your schedule. But because as much as I love the fall lock-in and the winter arc and the whole vibe of the season, it can often lead to a burnout before you even reach New Year. So incorporating activities, rest, and just a healthy rest, not doom scrolling rest and binge watching Netflix every day rest, but actual rest. The next thing I want you to do is quit your all or nothing mentality. This kind of ties to what I just spoke about the fact that fall often tends to leave us, in this all or nothing hustle mentality. Like if you don't wake up in the morning at 5 or 6 a.m., your whole day is ruined. I used to be like this so much, and I still am. And see, exactly for example, with the gym, I have it like this, right? Or I had it like this, where if I didn't wake up at 5 or 6 a.m., I wouldn't go to the gym because in my brain, gym time was in the morning. For some reason, I just didn't allow myself to go to the gym throughout the day. And guess what? Whenever I would just sleep in a little bit, I would not end up going to the gym. And this was a lot. So quit your all or nothing mentality. Just because you woke up late does not mean you cannot have a productive day. Just because you had dessert yesterday does not mean that you won't get fit and that you're not healthy. Just because you didn't study yesterday does not mean that you're gonna fail. Quit it. A little bit is better than nothing. If you were hungry, would you rather starve yourself more or have a little bit of food and feel at least a little bit satiated? The next thing that I want to talk about is simplifying your goals. And because we want to make this season as effective as possible, we want to use these last 3 to 4 months to the most. So I can only imagine that once you finish summer, you had your fun, and now September hits, October hits, and you just fill your to-do list with 20 different things and habits and goals because you only have 3 months. And as I said, that's only going to leave you burned out at the end of the year. And then New Year will come and you're going to want to rest. And then this whole thing is gonna just, go in circles. This ties back to the pillars that you've set on earlier in this video. And with each of these pillars, you're gonna come up with maximum three habits that you wanna do for that each pillar. Because, of course, I can set 10 different habits for each of these pillars. I can set so many habits just on my health. I can set so many habits just on my career. But as I said, the only thing that is going to do is it's going to burn me out. And I want to use this season to the most. I want to enjoy it the most. And I want it to be the most productive. And listing down as many habits and goals that you can think of isn't always the most productive. Because there is this principle where 80% of the goal that you set out is actually achieved by only 20% of active work. And this principle is very well known. I've read it in multiple books. I cannot tell you the exact name right now, but so think about it like this. You have your 4 different pillars that you want to focus on. What is the most important thing out of each one of them, the most important habit of each of these pillars? So I'm going to only pick the habits that are the most efficient. Now, to that, you've set these habits, these goals that you want. You've selected what is the most important. Now, how can you make these habits effortless? For me, I'm going to talk about fitness the most right now because that is the one that I'm battling with the most. But what helped me a lot is 2 things. For example, this is something that you can apply to your own goal or pillar. But I love this creator. Her name is Brains by Gains. I think I will link her down below. She's amazing. I've been watching her for years. And recently I watched one of her videos after a long time, and she spoke about how she has an app, a fitness app. And right now they have like a promotion that it's only for, and it was such a great deal, right? For like not even $5, something like that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out. And the app is amazing because you want to eliminate as much struggle as you have with that goal. So if it is workout, perhaps look into trying a workout plan or a workout app. Now, I know that these are not the most cheap. I know that these can be pretty pricey, but I really recommend her because she's amazing and the app is fabulous. You can choose whether you want to do workouts at home or at the gym. You select your exact goals and there are also different challenges, and it creates a workout plan where you have your warm up, your workout, your cool down, and you can switch even the workouts if, for example, you don't have that exact machine or you cannot perform that exercise. And it is amazing. It has eliminated so many struggles because there's no friction between me and going to the gym. The gym is right around my house. And I have the exact plan because I would often get stuck. Okay, what do I work out and everything? And the same goes for your food. You can either do a meal delivery service. I'm currently doing that, but again, it can be a little bit pricey. Or just plan out your meals. I know it sounds like ridiculously small, but you have to eliminate as much friction between you and that habit. The same goes for your studying. If there is so many studying that I have to do, I'm just going to focus on one little thing, eliminate any friction there is between me and studying. And yeah, and this goes basically for everything. For example, with content creation, I know that a lot of people want to start creating content and everything. And here's my tip. Start planning your content around your day. You know you're getting ready somewhere in the morning. Okay, just take a tripod, or if you don't even have a tripod, just put your phone down and film that. So eliminate any friction. If it's with content, if it's with school, if it's with, I don't know, work, anything. Whatever your goals are, look at what is causing you to not do that habit and eliminate it. If, of course, sometimes it's not possible, sometimes you just have to suck it up and just do it anyways. But a lot of the times, there are things that are causing this struggle, this friction that we can eliminate if you think about it. And the last thing that I want to talk about in this video is boundaries, because I like to think of fall as a time of the year when I just pull back from the outer world and draw the attention back to me, back to myself. And this can often lead to some issues with boundaries. So during the summer, you have your phone, everything, and those boundaries get a little bit loose. And don't forget to build them back up, whether it is with people, but also with you. On the internet, you often hear people talking about boundaries with other people, with friends, with family, with your partner. But have you actually thought about the boundaries that you set up with yourself? The boundary with your past self and your future self? Are there any boundaries that you have to create? For me, my future self has to set a boundary for my present self in doom scrolling. My future self has to set a boundary with going to bed late at night. Set those rules and those boundaries with intention. Why should my future self set a boundary for my present self when it comes to going to bed late at night? Well, because if I don't go early to bed, if I end up doom scrolling or binge watching TV in the morning, I'm either going to wake up without energy and I'm going to be sluggish and tired, or I'm just going to sleep through my alarms. Then I'm going to wake up late. My whole schedule is going to be shifted, and it's just going to feed into that all or nothing mentality. And then things are just not going to go the way I planned, and it's just going to cause unnecessary friction with the goals that I want to have. For example, with the gym, right? Because those boundaries also help you eliminate any friction that you have with those habits. Because if you just know that 10 p.m. I'm going to bed because tomorrow I'm waking up at 7 because that is the time I like to go to the gym. I have the most energy, I have the time, there's less people. By setting that boundary, you're going to eliminate that friction, because then you're going to be able to get up at 7 a.m. and you are going to be able to go to the gym. On the other hand, if you don't set that boundary with yourself, you end up going to bed at 2 a.m. Then you're going to wake up, you're going to sleep through your alarms, and you're going to wake up at 9 or 10. And you're going to be like, oh, but now I already have other things that I have to do, and the gym is going to be too full. And in the afternoon after work, I'm not going to have any energy. And boom, you just created 3 different excuses because you could not set up boundaries with your present self. Yeah, and of course, set boundaries with other people. Fall is a little bit of a isolation period for me, not in like a bad sense. I still go out with people, I still go out with friends, plan it intentionally. So I look at my calendar and I plan my dates and seeing my friends around my life and not the other way around, because that's what I did during the summer. I would plan my hangouts and fun times. And according to that, I would plan the rest of my life. But fall is a little bit different. As I said, you need to drive your energy and your attention back to yourself. And perhaps if that means creating a little bit of a distance, a healthy distance between you and your friends, then of course go do that. And that is all for today's video. I tried to be a little bit more concise in this video because I feel like my videos have started getting really long. And I know that it is not the best for the videos to be super long. But yeah, let me know down below how you enjoyed this video. And also let me know perhaps your pillars. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out those social media links. I love you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!